Keto and crime, keto and crime. We uncover the grime on keto and crime. Keto and crime, keto and crime. Now is the time for keto and crime.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Keto and Crime. And today we've got more juicy updates from 3 trials that are currently going on. 2 in federal court, that is Ghislaine Maxwell in connection with the Jeffrey Epstein case, and Josh Duggar also going on in federal court in Arkansas. I don't know how I missed that on yesterday's update. As well as the Smollett trial going on in state court in Chicago. So it's time to get into these juicy and often sickening details. But is what is not as juicy and certainly not evil, but what is good and a great way to start off your morning with a cup of coffee like I do every morning now that I'm back on my weight loss journey. Keto Crisp. How about that seamless transition? Keto Crisp is all plant-based, all natural, keto-friendly, vegan-friendly, vegetarian-friendly, and if you're just counting calories, old school style, also very friendly. Packed with protein, all natural ingredients, and low in carbs, which will help your blood sugar stay smooth the entire day. I enjoy one every morning with a cup of coffee. Now that I'm back on my weight loss journey, I've lost about 10 pounds. Hopefully, eventually you'll be able to see it in my face. I'm walking 3 miles a day, which is a huge endeavor for me, and all thanks to the eating right, and a tasty part of that is Keto Crisp. So if you want to get a great discount on it, I'll put the links below. Support them. A lot of really great flavors that you can feel good about. And now on to some less tasty stuff. With jury selection finalized and opening statements out of the way in the Maxwell trial, we had a witness by the name of Jane. That's all we know about her. And she was a young lady that was evidently 14 when she started being mentored by Jeffrey Epstein. According to her, her mother introduced her to Epstein at a camp that she was attending where he was some sort of hotshot, and he offered to mentor her. Remember, Epstein, if you haven't seen my video on Jeffrey Epstein, I'll link it here. But basically, he was a teacher. Even though he had no teacher's credentials, he was a teacher at many of the finest private schools in all of Manhattan. So it only stands to reason he would have access to these also very ritzy camps. So a lot of these girls he was targeting evidently were not, were not low income that were being kidnapped off the streets. They were the children of very wealthy or even, upper middle class children that he had access to via camps and schools. So she said that at age 14, he started being her mentor, and that both he and Maxwell would love bomb her, very typical of cult behavior, and that almost like a big brother, big sister, she very much enjoyed being around them. And then she said the abuse started at age 15. And oftentimes they would join in with other high-powered individuals that I guess paid for the service. Now remember, this is all allegedly. She is not found guilty as of yet. I really have trouble sometimes remembering that, especially in cases that just really cut to my heart like this one. But remember, she is innocent until proven guilty. So allegedly, they would join in on some of the abuses that took place in Manhattan, Palm Beach, Florida, and in the Bahamas. So I'm sure that's i.e. Epstein Island. So this is in federal court, and it's also a high-profile sex abuse case, so it is not streaming anywhere. Over to the Smollett case. Opening arguments were underway. A state's witnesses will begin taking the stand today, and we are left with the idea that Mr. Smollett's defense team is going to run with the narrative that the two Nigerian brothers that Smollett states he paid for personal training services lied to the police and are in on some police conspiracy, governmental, government, I don't even know what the word for it, government conspiracy to frame this B tier actor. And so that's the narrative he's running with. Again, guilty, innocent until proven guilty, but God, there's video. I mean, it's really hard to keep that mindset when there's video showing that it was actually the two brothers that attacked him. So the only thing is whether they can prove beyond a reasonable doubt that, they have to show, the state can show beyond a reasonable doubt he did pay the brothers, and counter defense, they have to show that there is at least one reasonable doubt that he paid the brothers for for personal training, not this. So, it's actually, and that's a good thing for the American system, that the burden is on the prosecution, but there's video. It's just like, it's there forever that in 2019 he decided to tie up a very busy Chicago police force with a fake hate crime. But we shall see. If it turns out that he is not guilty, or found, or is, it proves that he did not do this, and these brothers had it in for him, and they're trying to frame him, or the government's trying to, I'll be all over that. I mean, I will own it. I will say I was wrong, but so far that dog's not hunting. But that is the narrative that the police are, that the defense is going with. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Now over to the Duggars. Josh Duggar trial got underway with jury selection and pretrial motions earlier this week, in the more counts of child pornography and child abuse than we can even fathom. I mean, over 200 images, hardcore images of CP found on his computer by federal investigators, some with his children as young as 18 months. In addition to that, the allegations from his youth. But basically, the pool of jury was whittled from 50-something down to 12 jurors for alternates, who I'll be listening to the trial, and then they will take a poll, a raffle, much like that happened in the Rittenhouse trial and the Ahmaud Arbery trial, and they will determine who will actually listen to the evidence. But it really got underway when big old Jim Bob Duggar took the stand in pretrial motions and basically got into it with the judge, and the judge laid the smackdown on him. Basically, Jim Bob was saying he had no recollection, could not recall all of the facts of the allegations of sexual abuse that took place much earlier than 2019. That is, those lodged against him by his sisters and friends of the family. He's now saying, I don't remember any of that. So, and just basically being belligerent with the judge. Evidently, there was a lot of trouble with the jury because a lot of the jury had contact with the Duggars either as relatives or had once, like there was a woman that once bought a horse from the Duggars. I mean, there was not a whole lot of there wasn't even like Kevin Bacon 7 degrees of separation for some of these. I mean, it is Arkansas, but I have a lot of great friends. I'm from Alabama. I have no room to talk. But if you look at the rankings, we slightly edge out Arkansas. But so there was a lot of shifting and shuffling around, and basically it ended with the judge telling Jim Bob that you're not in charge, and I am, and you need to know your place, and I'm all for it. It's just beautiful to see him put in his place. I have nothing against the Duggars being religious. It's just their holier than thou attitude sometimes that gets to me. Again, Josh is innocent until proven guilty, but again, images found on his computer. If you'll recall, there were many allegations lodged against him as a young person that were swept under the rug, kept in the cult, He was mentored by a police officer that also turned out to be a predator himself. I did several videos on the Duggars. I'll link them up here. And in, of course, 2019, he was reconciling with his wife, working at an auto dealership owned by the family, using a online kind of watchdog that would alert his wife if he's looking at inappropriate images, but he actually built a separate hard drive. I mean, this is hacker level stuff, where he could do what he wanted to over here, but then the watchdog was over here. So his wife really thought he was doing right. And then the police busted him. The feds busted him and found over 200 images of CP on his hard drive. So I'm just interested to see where this would go. Again, if he's not guilty, I will apologize and eat the proverbial hat. But that's where we stand. Jury selection and Jim Bob being put in his place. I will keep you notified on all the trial. If you want a bird's eye view of the Maxwell trial, go over to Roberta Glass True Crime Report. She is in the courtroom watching it as it progresses, so she is the bird's eye view. I'm getting my stuff from transcripts, reports, and because there is no streaming of any of these trials, unlike the Rittenhouse and Arbery. But with that being said, I'll be back soon with another update. I have some great videos coming for you this weekend. This weekend I'm actually in Fort Walton Beach, Florida. So if you're on the Gulf Coast, near the coast of Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, Florida, or the Panhandle of Florida, come see me at Fort Walton Beach's Comedy Zone. I am opening for a great comedian, Jerry Harvey. He's a good friend of mine. We travel a lot together, so I am there for one night only, 8 p.m. Saturday. So this weekend I have a great conversation coming out with Kelly Persall, also known as Godless Granny. She is a retired attorney, and I will be asking her all the questions that we've been discussing from an attorney's perspective on all the trials that we've been covering. So I think it's going to be great to have her perspective. She can really explain burdens of proof and what to look for. So I'm looking forward to that conversation. And then Saturday we'll kick off my first in a 3-part exploitation video trilogy, talking about the atrocity known as bum fights. Some young people that were basically preying on homeless to make $1. I will be bringing that to you. And then Sunday, I have a extended version of my coverage of the Jeffrey McDonald case, who was one of the original family annihilators. And then my 3-parter on exploitation will continue through the next weekend, which I will be covering Hunter Moore and Is Anyone Up? And then we'll cap that off with Girls Gone Wild. It's just some very interesting stuff of what people got away with in the early 2000s to make money at the expense of others. I think it's a very interesting study. So with that being said, I'll be back real soon. Remember, if you'd like to support the channel, those links are down below. I really appreciate everyone. And until next time, keep on crime. Out.